At this point, it's not surprising to see console quality games available to play on your Instagram machine. And while mobile gaming has come far from its light pay-to-win roots, the racing space has always felt like it needed its killer app for a more refined audience. While games like Asphalt 9, Need for Speed, and to a lesser extent, Forza Street scratch that itch, there's still a massive gap in gameplay quality when looking for something more sim-like and less arcadey. Well, it looks like Assetto Corsa Mobile may finally be the game that fits that niche. For those of you unfamiliar with the series, Assetto Corsa is a racing game for the hardcore. Its track layout, meticulous attention to detail, and overall emphasis on giving players the most realistic and semi-racing experience possible has made the series more iRacing than Initial D. That's not to say that you need to be a gearhead to enjoy what Assetto has to offer. In fact, this mobile entry might be one of the most user-friendly experiences I've had in one of these kind of games. At first glance, this isn't the prettiest game, and while it doesn't look as vibrant and as gorgeous as Asphalt 9, it's not a big deal because, quite frankly, it's really not supposed to. But real quick, that's not to say the game isn't pretty. Every car is rendered with an exceptional amount of detail, and I was surprised how accurate the interior of my actual car in real life was in this game. The tracks could have used a little bit more flavor with them, and while I get that this isn't as important to Assetto's typical hardcore gameplay first audience, and you know, every track in here is real, this is a mobile game aimed at hopefully getting more people interested in the series. So I don't know, maybe some fireworks or lightning or something would have been cool. Other than that, the overall presentation is about as intuitive and straightforward as it needs to be, with a few exceptions. Comparing cars when you buy them could have been a bit easier, especially considering how expensive they are to buy and how crucial buying the right car in the beginning of the game can be. The game also could use a minimap on screen or an easier way to track my achievements. Keep in mind, I played this with an early access review code provided by the game's publisher, 505 Games, so this could all change by the time you see it. Alright, so we've talked about how the game looks and the franchise roots, but how does it play? So I'll just get out of the way right now and say it. Assetto Corsa might be the best mobile racing game I've ever played. Unlike other racers on my phone, Assetto gives you a ton of control options, from tilt steering, one-handed touch, controller customization, and everything in between. The accessibility options here made the game more enjoyable, mostly because it let me modify how I can play the game depending on my circumstance. While I always prefer to play mobile games with my Series S controller, I don't like lugging that thing around. So having the option to steer with tilt controls or just simple tap on the screen wheel made playing this game way more appealing when I only had 5 or 10 minutes to spare. The handicap options were great as well, and I think will definitely help newer players understand how the game wants you to play in a non-frustrating and intuitive way. Pro tip, when you start, turn the sensitivity down a little bit. It's a little bit too sensitive, and quite frankly, this is going to happen a lot.
Get out of the way! I can't see! There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!
That's not to say I didn't have any issues with the game's controls. Drifting and collision could definitely use some refinement, and the optional steering assistance could probably be a bit more friendly, because while this is a game that comes from a more hardcore franchise, a mobile installment should be a bit more friendly with the ease of use options. The game itself is your standard racer. Start in the back of the line, fight your way to the front, yada yada yada. You progress in career mode by winning race trophies in the game's various modes, from your standard races and time trials to the super fun overtake mode where you have to pass cars in a small amount of time, and this mode where you go as fast as you can through traffic lights. Needless to say, there's more than enough here to keep any racing fan busy. The problem is the game's progression and how hard it can be at points. While I do understand this game is for people who are in it to win it, the progress could have been a bit more lenient at the start. Currency in game is earned by winning, so if you lose or do worse than before, you're not getting anything. And while I get that this game is supposed to be more of a simulation racer than Drive Club, it really could use a little bit of a reward on every run just to keep me motivated. Not enough to make the game easy, but enough to reward the grind while I relentlessly work on shaving 1 second off my time. And that's where Assetto's biggest strength lies. The gameplay on the track feels like a dream, and while it could have used a little bit more rubber banding when racing the game's AI, I found myself glued to the idea of trying to get a better lap time and understanding my car in the road a bit more to get a better run. There's something that a lot of modern racing games are missing out on. In exchange for flashy visuals, the instant gratification dopamine hits, and the ability to drive cars I can never afford without resulting to a life of crime, racing games seem to focus on everything outside of the race itself. Assetto trades in some of the glitz and glamour of its contemporaries and delivers a rock-solid racing experience that I know I'll go back to long after this review is done. Is it going to set the world on fire and revolutionize mobile racing games? Probably not, but if you're someone who enjoys the thrill over lower lap time and the challenge of a true racing experience akin to Gran Turismo and Project Cars, and also want to play this while out and about, not just, don't do it behind the wheel of an actual car, then Assetto Corsa Mobile is totally worth checking out, and I can't recommend this anymore. Seriously, go play it. Hey everyone, I know it's been a while. Still working on a couple videos, whatnot, you know, nobody cares. Anyways, be sure to do that thing that everyone says to do at the end of a video, but don't feel pressure to do it because that is stupid. And yeah, go do something nice for someone and, I don't know, like, drink some pumpkin spice? Whatever. Till next time.